Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Firelink Podcast, episode number 26 for Wednesday, June 26, 2024. My name is Marty Sleeve, and as always, I am joined by Nick Calandra and Casey Wosu, and of course, producer Eric. We have a wonderful show for you. I feel like it's been eons since we did an episode. I think it was 2 weeks. It feels like it's been years.
Oh yeah, I guess we didn't do one for.
Yeah, we did an E3 a post Summer Game Fest episode 2 weeks ago. We didn't do one last week. But yeah, welcome everyone. We're thrilled to have you here. As you see, we got a great show for you today. We're going to be talking about the Nintendo Direct, which was like 10 days ago, almost 2 weeks ago, but we didn't get a chance to talk about it on the show. So we'll go over some of the highlights of that. News this morning broke about Capcom bringing back another one of their old franchises. Is it Mega Man Legends? Tune in to find out. It's not. It's Dead Rising. We're going to talk about that. And then our main topic, Nick and I don't know if you haven't gotten into Erdtree yet, have you, Casey?
Not the DLC. I have been playing Elden Ring.
You're looking for the Halga tree. You got to differ the Halo tree. You look at
I have a whole
another tree in mind.
I have an entirely different mission right now.
Yeah. You got to stay bad about a tree. But Nick and I have been playing a lot of Erdtree, so we're going to gab about that, but also on a sort of a more macro level, talk about DLCs and expansions in general. Which ones really stand out to us, where this might rank in the pantheon of the beloved ones, and how, like, for a little while, it felt like it was going to be a dying art, just because, like, do we count, like, Destiny things as expansions? I don't know how that works. I
think I would. I would count Destiny things as expansions.
That's true.
Yeah. And MMO stuff.
I really didn't think this title through before I posted it, so the fact that chat's already arguing about it means I did my job right.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have done this title, but people have already given us money, so
it worked.
Job well done. Remember, this show and all of the other shenanigans we do over here at Second Wind are funded by your incredible support, your viewership, your listenership, your patronage over on Patreon, and live via super chats that folks like Anixia with a $5 dono sent in. The best expansion is clearly the Doctor who cloned me for Duke Nukem Forever. That can't be real, is it? Duke Nukem Forever. They didn't allow it to have more, did they?
There was more Duke Nukem Forever.
They legally they had to do an expansion, and it was like, well, we got it. We just got to put it out there. We just got to send it out there.
Maybe it was just that much better than the base game.
Man,
what if it turned out it was like an incredible game that everyone just
somehow? I really want to know how Gearbox survived both that game and Aliens Colonial Marines within like the same 4-year period.
Two words. Borderlands.
Borderlands is just fucking.
That's one word.
Is it? Also, they do spell it all together.
It's one word.
2 words. Money laundering. SBS Guru with a €5 dono. Thank you so much. Probably recency bias, but my money is on Phantom Liberty. That'll definitely get brought up, as well as probably some other CD Projekt Red ones in the main topic. Look at that. That was teasing. Red Dwarf with a $5 dono. Thank you so much. The best expansion is the Louisiana Purchase. Manifest Destiny, baby. I mean, that did.
Is it though? Those are all the states everybody says are flyover country.
No,
not Louisiana.
Louisiana Purchase.
Yeah, that's everything. Everything. Those are all haters. Wait till they come here and see glorious things like Indianapolis. That wasn't part of the Louisiana Purchase, but let me tell you, Indianapolis. Big things coming there. Super Bowl, WrestleMania,
all from Milwaukee.
Was it free? No, it was not free. Not free. And then Quintuple A with a $20 dono. Thank you so much. Welcome back, Nick. You did it, Nick. I'm proud of you. I forgot you because this is your first stream since you've been back.
Yeah,
you've just been back because you've been in a lot of meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember how to stream?
No. Do I?
Yeah, I mean, he's currently not streaming right now, so like, there's a good chance he may have.
I was about to make a real bad joke, and I was like, you know what? Maybe I don't.
Oh no, that's not how you stream. That's not how you stream. Don't stream like that. Don't do that. And Pattern Pike with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. What do y'all think of the Borderlands movie being PG-13? I'm gonna be honest. This is the first I've heard of that, and I think that movie was bad for a lot of different reasons.
Is
one of which
bad because PG-13 is too kid focused, or bad because PG-13 is too mature?
No, I assume too kid focused. Because I think the game's just rated M, right? Because there's like a lot of cussing.
Oh yeah. There's not even a lot of cussing. There's just a lot of like gore.
Yeah, it is pretty gory. Like heads explode and stuff like that.
The cursing is like pretty limited to like badass or jackass. And
I think they even bleep themselves when they get like real.
Yeah, they're not really dropping F-bombs everywhere or anything.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
I don't know, but yeah, that preview clip they showed off a couple weeks ago did not look good.
I still haven't seen that. Like the first trailer they showed, I was actually kind of like, oh, maybe this might be fun. But I did not see the preview clip that people are now down on. But I will say Borderlands in general has always been kind of immature. Like it was of its time. I think PG-13 might be right. Like you don't want this aimed at proper adults. You want like forming brains to get their to try to wrap their heads around this.
It's like sort of like a pastiche take on like a Mad Max thing. So it doesn't need to be as like intense as like a Mad Max.
Sure.
It could be a little goofier. It could be like Zombieland, which was also R, I guess. But we don't make the rules. Only Randy Pitchford and his money laundering make the rules.
His magic laundering.
It is.
Watch it make this money disappear.
You know what? Something that didn't disappoint us, and that was the old Nintendo Direct, which seemed like it was ages ago. But since we obviously weighed in on the last episode, we weighed in on all the other conferences, and we streamed all the other conferences and stuff. But we haven't had a chance to just gab about the Nintendo Direct. So I guess I live streamed it, and I feel like I talk about it on every single stream. But I guess what did you guys think of sort of Nintendo's the Switch's seemingly last great volley, and what Nintendo had to show off?
I was impressed that we're actually getting new games.
Yeah, very much so. I'm in that same boat. I for sure thought this was going to be a dud.
They could have just remade and remastered like a bunch of GameCube games.
Like, the last Direct.
And I also I got a laugh when I was watching it because you're still not getting Wind Waker HD.
It's coming to Switch 2 launch. You got to have a Zelda game at launch, and that's it. Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, 2 Zelda games at launch.
They could have announced that if it was on the way, even if it was on Switch 2, because they're going to split the difference anyway. Like, oh, here it is for Switch and Switch 2. Buy it twice.
Yeah.
It'd be 60 on Switch, 70 on Switch 2.
Yep, exactly.
Pay for it.
You'll pay for it both times too.
Hot Switch 2. I thought it was a really impressive. It was a really impressive direct, first party wise. It was cool to see Mario and Luigi. It's crazy that like it felt like for a while we just weren't getting a lot of Mario RPG games, and then in the last year we got 3 of them. We got Mario RPG, we got Thousand Year Door remake, and now we're getting Brothership, which is a dumb name, but I think the game looks delightful, so I'm excited for that. Like
looks in particular, like that game looks gorgeous.
Yeah, the animation is like really impressive.
Like I have not ever played any of the Mario and Luigi games, but I do know they did have a unique art style, which was different from Paper Mario, which is different from regular 2D Mario, different from 3D Mario, right? Is this matching that original art style, or is this a new art style?
Yes, and this is the first Mario and Luigi game that is not on like a handheld. So that's, well, I mean, Switches are going to be on handheld, but you know what I mean, like a console as opposed to a portable. So it feels like,
and this is 3D, whereas those were all 2D, like kind of top downy.
Yeah, I think by the DS and 3DS ones, I think there was some like faux 3DS ones. Or faux 3D ones. There's one where you go inside of Zelda, or not Zelda's body, Jesus.
Bowser. Oh no. Bowser's inside story. Yeah,
a different game that I would also be interested in. So if Nintendo ever wants us to make that, but the other 2 big first-party Nintendo things obviously were Metroid Prime 4 and speaking of Zelda, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, the game where you play as Zelda herself, and very much seems like taking this kind of creative freedoms of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but marrying them with the sort of classic top-down overworld, which seems really cool. I don't know. I just thought the Nintendo stuff looked really good.
Yeah, good showcase.
No one was really expecting much from them. Like we feel in our hearts that the Switch 2 is right around the corner. So like, there's really not that much life left in the Switch. And Nintendo was like, you don't know anything, as usual, and showed us a bunch of new shit that I'm honestly excited for. And like most often, Nintendo will show stuff that I do not care about, except for like maybe one big first party thing. But like everything they showed almost was of some interest to me. Like I'd be super interested to try the new Brothership game. It looks awesome. The Zelda game I must play. And Metroid Prime 4, I've not caught up with any other ones, but yes, please give me more of that.
Do we
the fact that that still exists, my God.
Yeah, right. That's just kind of impressive. I wonder if at this point it's gonna be like one of the most expensive Nintendo games ever made, just by virtue of they've spent this many years of salary on. Obviously the game had to be rebooted multiple times, but like, I don't know. I'd be curious. I don't think they'll ever actually say how much this game costs. But
there was I'm sorry.
Okay.
Did you? Were you trying to move on? Because I had one more thought on the Metroid thing. Metroid. No, yeah, because I wanted to say, like, from what they showed, like, it does look very gameplay like, but I'm a little skeptical as to whether this was actually gameplay, like running on hardware and playable.
Looks almost as good.
Yeah, so that's what I was going to say is some people saw it and were like, oh, this has to be Switch 2. That being said, I feel like we said the same thing with when we first saw like Tears of the Kingdom and when we first saw Mario and Rabbids 2.
Yeah.
So I think Nintendo
should be running on a Switch 2 because they run like crap.
I mean, yeah, but like Nintendo has, they've first off, Tears of the Kingdom does not run like crap. Why would you say
1 second, please?
1 second. What?
We forgot about.
What?
Now recording.
Oh, well, you could have just hit those. I could have just kept talking. What happened?
No, because it breaks the camera.
It breaks the camera. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we'd have mentioned it or something.
I have to cut this later on the audio version.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Apologies. Apologies to everyone for that. But yeah, I don't think. I think Metroid Prime 4 is going to be a cross-gen game. I think it will be coming out on Switch, but I could also see it. Probably won't. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be a launch game for Switch, like Breath of the Wild or like Twilight Princess, like a cross-gen launch game.
Yeah, I'd imagine so.
Isn't that
they didn't? This like the one big game from their showcase they didn't put a date on.
Yeah, I think they just said 2025.
Yeah,
you don't think that's a risk using this as a big launch game as opposed to because for the last two they've done a cross-gen Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess prior to that first one, that was kind of a risk, right? Because
I don't think it's a risk. I think they just want to, for the amount of time they spent on it, they need to sell as many copies as possible.
This game would benefit greatly from the massive reach of the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So the 150 million people who own a Switch. If they have a 3D Mario game planned for launch, I do not think that needs to launch on Switch. I think that can launch on the Switch successor and be fine. Like that could be a true system seller. Like this doesn't feel like a game that's a system seller. Whereas I think a Mario game, people will buy it for whatever the 3D Mario team's been working on.
That's fair.
Odyssey.
The only thing I'll say about the Nintendo Showcase is man, how many Mario games have we gotten in the past 2 years? Like 10?
Yeah, if you look at all of Mario's different...
give me a Yoshi, give me Donkey Kong, give me something that's not Mario.
We're getting Donkey Kong Returns. It's coming back.
The same Donkey Kong's returning, right?
Yeah. The hit Wii game, which became the hit 3DS game. And it's
just want to see them do more with their other properties. Like, damn. Zelda and Mario.
I mean, that's their.
Yeah, I know it's their thing.
Yeah, but I mean, we've been getting Fire Emblem. We see Metroid coming.
That's true.
Yeah, they do definitely like. There's a few things they've left by the wayside.
And like
Star Fox or a.
Yeah, it's more like what I was kind of saying about way back when on Breakout about modernizing their IPs. We got the modernization of Kirby, and that was great.
Yeah.
So just kind of want to see the same thing for Donkey Kong and all that kind of stuff.
I want Donkey Kong to have to put a whole car in his mouth like Kirby did. Donkey Kong.
You think we'll ever see another fully 3D Donkey Kong?
Maybe. There was some scuttlebutt that or some rumors that I don't know why I changed scuttlebutt to rumors. I don't know. Those are the same in my mind.
Yeah,
I went back. I was like, no. Sorry, you can't. Don't quote me on scuttlebutts. It was rumors that the 3D Mario team was actually working on a Mario and Donkey Kong game, like a 3D, like I don't know, Mario and Donkey Kong hang out in the jungle. I don't know what they do there. Get high, eat bananas,
laced bananas,
laced bananas. Yeah. Throw their own feces. That'd be great. Jewel Rao with a €5 donor. Thank you so much. Some monies for the second Wendy's. Moi can't wait for the documentary. Nick didn't disappoint ever in his promises. I'm sure Nick's disappointed you at some point.
No.
You can't look up to anyone if they haven't disappointed you at least once. So, there you go. The other big, there were some big third-party reveals there as well with that Phantazan game coming to, that was the Apple Arcade Sakaguchi game that is now coming to consoles. Dragon Quest 3 2D HD as well as
that one I'm excited for.
Yeah, that one looks great.
That looks great. I love that art style, but like I just...
2D HD.
Yeah, I just could not stick with Octopath Traveler 2. I really wanted to like it.
Funny, I feel like everyone else I know who's played it really loved it. I haven't played it yet, so
it just I don't know. It just felt too obtuse to me.
Yeah, too obtuse.
Yeah.
Then the last big one was, which I know a lot of folks online got excited for, was which I guess kind of transitions into our Dead Rising Capcom topic, but Capcom bringing back the Marvel vs. Capcom X-Men vs. Street Fighter fighting collection, which includes like 7 different games, including the original, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, Marvel vs. Capcom 2, some beat 'em ups like the Punisher game and Children of the Atom, but yeah, obviously this is coming to Switch, PS4, and PC. Not coming to Xbox. We're seeing more and more third-party things like this, like Capcom specifically. And there's like people think it might be because of a certain engine, like the whatever. There's an engine for certain Capcom games, and they said it might just like straight up not work on Xbox. Or like they haven't figured it out, so that is why certain Capcom games are like, and they found like the similarity between all those Capcom games not being on Xbox is this certain engine, and it's not like the RE or anything, but it's so
just some legacy tech that they've used. You're saying,
yeah, that for some reason just doesn't play well with the Xbox architecture. But I'm really excited for this. I know, Casey, you said you're not like a hardcore Marvel vs. Capcom fan, but Marvel vs. Capcom 2 might be my most played fighting game ever besides Smash.
Like it's super cool, but yeah, I just haven't had a ton of time with it.
Yeah,
but it's super flashy. It's where what is it? Moment 42 comes from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's like the game
it's amazing.
The game almost has like a life of its own outside of the game itself. Everything, the Marvel baby, like that thing, and yeah, it was unavailable legally. To buy on modern hardware for almost 10 years. And so the fact that it's come back now is pretty dang cool. And maybe this will, if it does well, maybe they'll make Marvel vs. Capcom. Well, we could just get rid of Infinite and just make a new one.
Yeah, everybody forget about Infinite.
Just make it like these old 2D ones and just put in a bunch more characters. That'd be cool. But they haven't put a Monster Hunter person in here. You got to put a Monster Hunter into these games, right?
I mean, they haven't yet.
Yeah,
those games. Those games were kind of. I mean, they've put much more obscure characters in Monster Hunter characters. So yeah, I don't know. That's a purposeful choice, I guess.
Wasn't there a fighting game where you had to fight a Rathalos? Oh, was that Smash?
Yeah, Smash put Rathalos in there.
Oh,
yeah, okay. Like a boss and like a stage hazard.
Yeah, I remember that, man. But yeah, sticking with Capcom, like we mentioned earlier, Dead Rising. Capcom has announced the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster. They didn't really give a whole lot of details of what it is, other than first off, it's called the Deluxe Remaster, which seems strange. Like, what, both those words? Yeah, that seems strange. DRDR. And they say just a short teaser, and it says coming to a newest generation of platforms, and it's an updated release with a brand new look. It's interesting they say newest generation of platforms, because I wonder if part of them were like, we're aiming for the Switch 2 for this, but we can't say that yet, so we're just going to say the newest generation of platforms.
PlayStation 5 Pro.
Yeah,
man,
but not Xbox, because maybe it's on that same engine as those other games.
They should probably fix that.
Did you guys play Dead Rising? I feel like we don't really talk about Dead Rising.
A little bit.
I played Dead Rising 1 and 2.
Not a fan.
3 I had when the Xbox came out, but I didn't really like it. And 4 everybody hated it. And then Capcom Vancouver got shut down for it. Ooh, I have a helmet. It's a series I like, but it's not a series like I have to have in my library. It's very much a game that I'll play for a little bit, and then I'll go, like put it down, and then I'll go back, and then I'll go put it down again. I remember playing the demo a fuck ton when it came out. The first one came out.
I messed around in that demo. I tried to play the game like way back when, and really just fell off of it. Like I don't like its loop much at all. Like as a novelty, especially like the way it was usually as like a showcase piece for Xbox in particular. Like look at all these NPCs and enemies on screen at once. Like that's how they used it. It's like kind of like a bit of a proof of concept for the power of the console. And so like it being a fun game was kind of secondary in my mind to that goal. And yeah, I don't think it's very fun in my opinion.
It was
so like I bounced off it.
it was like a surprisingly risky game in terms of that whole like kind of everything's moving in real time. You got to if you don't do shit.
Yeah, it has some unique things
will
about
die.
it. Yeah.
Like it was kind of hardcore.
I was still a kid when that came out. I didn't like being stressed.
No,
by
it was
time.
like there was like a ton of pressure behind it, and so I'm curious if they'll with this version, I don't even know. Maybe in later versions they ended up stripping that away. Like
I think Dead Rising 2 had the time. Yeah, I think Dead Rising 2 had the time mode, but that also just had a free mode.
Yeah, which I would imagine this would have, but
yeah, it's a quality of life thing.
Yeah, the other thing, it just kind of like does anyone treat their library of classic games like as well as Capcom does their own? Like it just feels like people like their ports are good. They're constantly releasing collections, whether it's Mega Man games or old Street Fighter games or their arcade classics, their fighting games. I don't know. It just like it feels like they're constantly cycling in like they if a franchise feels like it's getting stagnant, they're willing to change things like Resident Evil, or they're willing to double down on things like a Monster Hunter.
They've been genuinely really smart about their IP.
Yeah,
Sony's really good about it.
You think Sony is good?
No.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say because like Sony,
they won't bring back Infamous or Resistance. They can.
I mean, we want to talk about some true scuttlebutt. It sounds like Sony is like serious on working on that they're working towards PS3 emulation on PS5.
Yeah,
and so people think like native PS3 games will be able to. They'll then I don't know if they'll add them PlayStation Plus or whatever, but that would probably include things like your Killzones, your Infamouses, your PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale, Infamy. That's already a different word. that's its own word. Yeah, obviously, like Capcom's certainly not perfect. There's still like I keep banging the drum wanting my Power Stone or my Mega Man Legends, but I don't know. It's cool. While you have like Konami over here not knowing what the fuck they're doing with their library and releasing these collections of games that are kind of bunk and just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what.
I mean, they've had a couple of not.
I buy the Metal Gear collection. What am I
the Metal Gear one wasn't great, but like, didn't they have like a Castlevania one a while ago?
Yeah, those ones are good.
They had like a Ninja Turtles one.
Yeah,
not too long ago, which I think was fairly okay.
Yeah,
I think they also had a Contra one. I don't know. They don't have as wide. Like they don't have as wide a catalog as Capcom, which I think maybe doesn't do them justice when they do go back and try to do stuff.
Yeah.
But if we're gonna compare other publishers like Capcom in terms of how to treat the IP, then Nintendo is kind of on par with them. Honestly, like as annoyed as we get with like them not giving us stuff, like the stuff they have given us has even been stuff that we've wanted and didn't know we wanted. Like whatever the reasons are, both Nintendo and Capcom, like they hold certain things to the chest, but they'll give you almost everything else.
Yeah. You know who's weird when it comes to their past, which I guess can dovetail us into the main topic of Shadow of the Erdtree, is FromSoft. Because FromSoft has this like long and weird past of games in the 90s and the aughts, like before Demon Souls. And they do not... Like, there are games that came out after Demon Souls and Dark Souls. Like, they made an Ace Combat game and like a shitty Steel Battalion game after Dark Souls that people just do not count as FromSoft games.
Wait,
like, we just go, it goes Demon Souls, Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Sekiro, and Elden Ring. And they just, and I guess Armored Core now. And there's just, like, parts of their history that are just ignored. And, like, it's almost like they just came out like fully formed in 2009 instead of being like, well, no, there was like decades where they were making weird PS1 games and PS2 games and a bunch of strange experimental shit.
What Ace Combat game did they make? Assault Horizon?
Oh, not Ace Combat. I meant Armored Core, the other AC.
Oh, I was like, what?
No, other AC.
Sorry, yeah. I meant the other one. Yeah, there was an Armored Core game that came out in like I think like for the 360.
Yeah, that was 5.
Verdict Day? Yeah, I think V Verdict.
And they made Chrome Hounds too.
Yeah, they had Otogi on the original Xbox. The Adventures of Cookie and Cream that I bring up a lot. Ninja Blade. Yeah, it's just
Ninja
like
Blade
interesting.
Was not good.
No, I agree, but
I think a lot of their games just weren't good until Demon Souls.
I completely agree, but it's just really like I would just love to see like them announce here's like an old collection of a bunch of our old games, but they wouldn't because I don't think
because they were bad.
They were kind of bad. It was like pre-Miyazaki, pre-Miyazaki.
Yeah.
And
we only talk about
post-Miyazaki.
But on that note, on re-releasing the possibility of re-releasing bad games, didn't Nintendo re-release a bunch of Virtual Boy games? Like that happened, right? There was like a Virtual Boy collection.
No, I don't think so. On what?
No,
I mean
those games are not playable anywhere. Like
as far as I know,
the tennis or
no.
Weird.
As far as I
did
know,
I dream that?
You might have.
I would love that. Could you imagine putting that in Labo? I don't know.
No, they probably don't want you to do that.
You could Labo that whole thing up. Yeah, I don't know. Just an interesting thing about FromSoft. They're a real strange cat to follow. Like to see like what's going on with these guys. So always fascinating to talk about.
I wonder what's gonna. That company's probably. I don't know. Maybe they've retained enough talent, but Miyazaki says he's done. What does FromSoftware do?
Wait, he didn't say he was done, did he?
No. I'm saying when and if he says he's done, it's like.
I'm curious.
I mean, all dynasties must come to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't direct all the games. I mean, he didn't direct Dark Souls 2, which I guess, and he didn't direct the Armored Core. And Armored Core, people like.
Armored Core is great.
Yeah,
that's true.
6. Armored Core 6 is great.
Yeah,
I would
hope enough talent over the years to just keep it going.
Yeah, and I would hope that he has, sort of lieutenants who are in the position to step up and start doing things, especially as
like my boss.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Yeah, I was trying to think of I was like assistants, but I'm like underlings, the small folk. But it's FromSoft's strange in that, and he also was talking about how he's interested in the idea of expanding Elden Ring into other media. They've done comics before, but I don't think it would be out of the realm of possibility to see an Elden Ring movie. What that would look like, I don't know. I feel like Elden Ring as a story makes the most sense for a movie. Like it has the most I don't know. It's like it's shitty rich people in power squabbling with each other over a throne is just very like Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Yeah, George R. Martin's name is already attached to it, so half the work is done.
Which I feel like, if you have a series that you say from the hit video game from the mind of George R. Martin or something, they will definitely whatever the TV series is, they will definitely sort of like oversell George R. Martin's role.
And they'll say Miyazaki just in case you think of the other one, the one who does make movies.
They'll never say his first game. You're like, shit, this looks
completely unrelated. But let's see how that God of War
whatsoever. This doesn't look like Totoro at all. Yeah, I saw Nick. You tweeted out how the perfect thing would be something like the Green Knight, like keep it sort of story/dialogue minimum, and just have it look sick as hell and have cool ass fights.
Yeah.
Have it just follow Artorias. Get us a little Sif, a little dog. Folks love dogs. Folks do love dogs. Except, especially who? Christian Bale in Equilibrium. He's the largest lover of dogs. Okay, let's now that we've kind of circled the drain on FromSoft, let's talk a little bit about Shadow of the Erdtree. This will not be a spoiler discussion. I mean, I haven't finished it yet. I guess
I haven't started it yet.
What do we consider spoilers? Like locations or?
Yeah, just be vague.
Okay.
I'd be
like anything that surprised you, I guess.
It all surprised
in the trailer, so it didn't surprise me.
Yeah, I didn't watch I didn't watch the launch trailer or anything. I went completely blind.
So I beat the last night. I beat the Shadow Keep and a man named Mesmer. And let me tell you, he's just a sloppy bitch. Oh my god! His second phase. What is going on there? Beat him, and then I got to the next area, and it was probably it was the first. I think it was my complaints on Monday were that the world feels a little like to me. Visually, like it feels a little unimpressive compared to the lands between in my mind. I got to this next area after Mesmer, and I was like, oh damn, this looks cool. And so that was like the first thing that really like wowed me in terms of.
Is that as far as you got?
Yeah, that's where I got last night. Yeah, I haven't played it since then.
Oh man, you are in for a treat.
I mean, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I actually the farther I've gotten into it, it's more visually varied than the lands in between by a long shot. Like there's lots of different colored areas, but the thing that's like as much as I love like the Lands Between map, the map in this is like almost feels like Dark Souls 1-ish, where there's a lot of like weird paths to take to get to new areas. So I've just absolutely fallen in love with the DLC. Like I think I tweeted about it last night. Like I've been looking for this map fragment for a day. I spent like 6 hours fucking running through the map. Like, where is this fucking thing? And I knew, like, you know, when you place a marker on the map, you can see where it is. Yeah. And it's like way down in this ravine. I'm like, how the fuck do I get down there? And I just kept running and running and running, going everywhere. And then I go back to this area that I was in, and all of a sudden I'm like, is that a ladder? I was like, it is. And I go down the ladder. And then I go through a dungeon, and then oh my god, I'm in this whole new area, and I'm like, what? Like, how do I? And I still haven't found that stupid fragment.
him saying that it's only as big as the opening area of Elden Ring is like such a lie. Like that is such like
yeah,
such
like,
a lie.
The thing about this map is like it's not as expansive, but the verticality and depth of it is crazy.
Yeah.
There's areas where you go like above the clouds and then down into like the darkest depths of the ravines, and it's like, whoa, like the scale of this map is incredible.
Yeah, I still haven't. Like I said, maybe I just got to a place last night when I stopped to where it was like the first, not the first, because I don't want to say that, because like the opening view when you get into the graveyard field or whatever is like really pretty. That's like a great, like, you know, Breath of the Wild or Elden Ring moment where you see everything in front of you, which is really cool. It was sort of like after that, like nothing really wowed me until I got to that view there. But I'm excited to keep playing, especially if A, I'm enjoying it, and B, to see what else is there. Where do you stand on the game too hard?
Well, I don't know if I have the best answer because I was dumb, and I'm playing it on New Game Plus. It's not easy, but I'm making it through. I think my biggest frustration with it is like I wish at least for the DLC they would make it easier to respec your character, because I like even on New Game Plus I got to go back and get the bell bearings again, which is how you get all those extra items to buy and everything.
Right.
Which I really don't want to do again. But also like you have to get the I forget what they're called, but you have to take them to Lernia Castle or whatever it is,
right?
And to respec your character.
The
larval tears.
Yeah, the larval tears. And like I wish like you could just go. Maybe you can. I don't remember, but I don't think you can just go buy those. You have to go get them and farm them.
Yeah, I did not. I purposely did not beat the game in this playthrough because I was like, I don't want to have to deal with New Game Plus. So I got like right up to Horaloo or Goodwin,
Godwin,
whatever one of those fuckers was named. Right at the end of the game, and that's when I jumped into the DLC. But
yeah,
so I really like it so far. The bosses. I mean, I guess you weren't talking like, how do you feel about the difficulty of like the bosses?
Well, yeah, like the one thing I've found is like right now I'm using like a great sword build, which I've never used before in a Souls game. But it feels like the only thing that does enough damage on like some of the harder enemies to like make a dent.
Yeah.
You know, I think I'm close to like
what's
180.
your shadow tree level?
I'm 11.
Okay, yeah. I'm at 11 as well.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the big thing. Like I spent quite a bit of time when I was like bashing my head up against a couple bosses. I was like, I'm just gonna do a big old exploration and try to find these, and I found a bunch of them. And then when I got back to the bosses, I was like, oh, look at that, I'm stronger. Yeah, I mean, I can take more damage.
Isn't that the formula? That's what they taught you with the base game, right?
That was in base Elden Ring too.
Yeah,
in base Elden Ring, it was like, oh, I'm just gonna level up, whereas like leveling up feels less important. Like traditional levels up feels less important here than those actual shadow tree fragments.
Like I would argue that the base game is also like that. That just leveling up isn't necessarily enough.
No, you gotta level up your weapons and everything too.
Yeah, and also like you gotta use stuff. Like Elden Ring is so chock full of like shit, like stuff you can craft, stuff you can use, stuff you can make use of. Like enemies all have weaknesses and blah blah blah. Like me coming back to it, like I wanted to jump to the DLC, but like I know I didn't get as far as I wanted to when I left it sitting there. Like I was wrong. I thought I was close to Melania, and I was getting ready to deal with her and then jump to the DLC. Not only was I in the wrong location, I had the stuff to get to where she was. I just never went there. So I was in an entirely different location. And on top of that, I could have sworn that I had killed the Lord of Blood, Moog. I didn't do that either.
That's what you need to do in order to
that's what I need to do if I'm going to get into the DLC. So I did buy the DLC. So right now, I had one mission, which was to kill Melania. Now I have another mission, which is to kill Moog, Lord of Blood, which I think I'm just outside his area, hopefully. And I'm being reminded that even the base game, like people are complaining about how hard the DLC and stuff is. Like the base game does not pull any punches, and it requires of you to interact with the world. Like you need to not only make use of everything you have in your inventory, know what it does, especially know what it does to the enemies you're fighting, but refer to the community, because like some of this shit, in my own free time, I would never have discovered. Like part of the path to get to just the DLC before you get to any of the new stuff has like those Bloodhound assassin enemies who are just invisible. Like they're just invisible and they will one-shot you unless you have a specific torch that will light the way, and you have to fight them one-handed because the torch has to stay in your hand, otherwise they go back.
Is that in like
invisible.
the Snowy Village? Is that the place?
Yeah, like you get in the Snowy Village and there's like a little town there.
Consecrated snow or whatever.
Yeah.
So I got there and was like, I was very perturbed. So I had to go online. I was like, and thinking back on it, I was like, it would have been stupid of me to like forcibly be like, no, I'm going to figure this out solo, because that's just not how the game is designed. Like they 100% know that they make this stuff super obscure because part of the fun is people, talking about it and figuring out how to get around the challenge.
Oh yeah, and and also like the game is there. It has plenty of tools for you to use to kind of scale your difficulty, like not only in terms of leveling up your character, but in like there are some bosses that I go in and I'll always try a boss just clean the first time, a couple times. I'll give it a couple runs, and then I'm like, okay, maybe if I summon in my boys, my rat boys or my black knife boys, maybe we can do it. And if that doesn't work, I'm like, well, fuck it. I'm going to summon a human who's better at the game, and the two of us are going to do it. And if I get to a boss and I die like 10 times, I'm like, fuck it. I'll find some man who's better at the game than me. The worst was I summoned a guy, and his name, I assume there's a lot of players goofing on this, but it was Let Me Solo Him. And I got him in there, and we got in there, and he was naked, and he had a pot on his head. He got fucking crushed in like 10 seconds. And I'm like, God damn it. Now I'm left fighting this dude whose health is higher because I brought someone in there. And so I'm like, I'm not doing it. If you're too braggadocious with your name, I'm not summoning you. I'm looking at your what your character looks like, and if it's cool looking, there's like one guy who looked like a bear, and I was like, yes, bear, you can come with me. We'll beat this boss together because you look very cool.
Yep, I'll use my Mimic Terror, and if they give me a summon, I'll use that, but I don't summon other players because it scales the boss up. And
it does scale the boss up, and if the player dies quickly, you're like, well, now I'm fighting a harder boss by myself.
yeah, it's a catch-22. Yeah. Oh, you want some help? Well, they better be able to do it all for you, because if not, you're fucked.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes that split attention is all you need, but yeah.
The split attention does help. If the person's like kind of understands, when to like, okay, I'll take attention of them so you can back off and heal, or vice versa. It's interesting, kind of the non-verbal communication you can have with a complete stranger online.
I think like as much as I like the discovery aspect of even just getting to the DLC, I think it's a bit much to ask people to remember that like 2 years after the game came out, where you might have to go.
Yeah.
There was no way. I was like, wait, how do I get to this DLC? I even had to use a guide because I hadn't even found Mog's location yet when I played the base game, and I put 60 hours.
Yeah, it's like super out of the way.
It's really weird.
But I do think that's intentional. Like they want it that way because they want you to ask someone. They want you to refer. Well, maybe not a guide per se, but like they want you to look outside of just your time playing the game to get that information.
Yeah. Like I said, if I hadn't played the game, or if I'd played the game every day for 2 years, I probably would have been able to like, oh, I know where to go. But yeah,
sure,
it's not happening. But as far as the expansion goes, like I guess the title of the discussion is, this the best expansion ever? I like personally, I've not been able to put it down since I got my hands on it. Like, just the scale of the world is astounding to me, and the amount of content in there. I know there's some people in chat saying some of some of the locations are empty, like the Abyssal Woods. Like, yeah, I think that's kind of the point of it, though. That's a weird section of the game. Without spoiling anything directly, it's like almost you play the game differently in that area without saying anything.
Comes first person shooter.
No, but it does become like another genre of game. Yes, actually, and it's very interesting.
Platformer with a twist.
Kinda. Maybe.
Cozy game.
You're trying to get me to spoil it. Definitely.
Little guy in a big world.
Definitely
I assume you just have to go quietly. Probably you just got to sneak. Does it just
I'm not going to spoil it for you. Quit trying to get me to spoil it.
That's the only other mechanic. The game can't hold other mechanics other than you can crouch and go quiet.
It turns into Viva Pinata like.
My guess is you get on torrent and then you just race a bunch of other horsemen.
Yeah.
Oh, how great would that be? And you can fandoms can put money on it. You get souls for it. Yeah.
Jeez, looks like my head's my Melania.
Nick is sharing a blanket with the lady. That's what this looks like.
There you go.
Yeah, I think in terms of like the value for my money, I would definitely like put this with right alongside like Phantom Liberty in terms of like feeling like almost a 1.5 version of the main game. I also love like Blood and Wine when that came out. Definitely didn't feel like the scale that this feels like it's on. But in general, like I don't know, for the amount of content I've already gotten out of it, and I'm still not even like halfway done with it. Feels like I got a whole new game out of it. I'm completely good with that.
Yeah, that's when I went back thinking of this. A lot of my favorite expansions feel like they take kind of what I loved about the original game, distill it into like a much more kind of concise. Let's trim the fat and let's give you something that's real lean, and then throw in another wrinkle. So do something interesting with it. And so a couple that came to mind were Minerva's Den for BioShock 2, which is like pretty much a standalone DLC, like a completely its own story. But I think Pound for Pound, that's my favorite BioShock story in the entire series, and it's a DLC for kind of the forgotten sequel that people don't really talk about in the same way they talk about the original game or Infinite. The Last of Us Left Behind, which I really loved from the first game, which was kind of the Ellie and Riley featured expansion in the mall, and you get Ellie's backstory and how she was bit and everything. Undead Nightmare, which does the thing for Red Dead. Which
I forgot about that.
More, I like when DLC is willing to be kind of goofy and can be like, we could just do something, we can just completely zag, and so we could take this open world cowboy game and turn it into a zombie horror game, or we can take something like Blood Dragon. We could take Far Cry 3 and we could turn it into this kind of like nostalgic, super hyper vulgar, neon drenched 80s homage.
Fun.
Yeah, I guess we're. You're like I said, I'm not. Don't for the chat, like don't focus too much on the title. I think we're just talking about DLC we like because. Like,
I mean, you're the one who made the title, Nick. You can't be like, Chad, you gotta stop looking at the title.
You agreed with me. You said it was ready to go. But like,
I didn't even know what the title was.
Fallout 4's Far Harbor was really good.
That's a joke on Bar Harbor. Bar Harbor is a place in Maine. Shout out to Bar Harbor. Shout out to George.
Who's George?
George just got a shout out. George knows who George is. Got a shout out.
All right.
Lucas? Did he drop the T?
It is George L, just not our George Lucas. And then I really liked Echoes of the Eye, the Outer Wilds. Did you play that?
I keep forgetting that is a thing. I keep consistently forgetting that there's more Outer Wilds.
Yeah.
I should go back. I will go back.
That's what you said a year ago.
Yeah, and I'll probably forget. We'll forget again.
And I forgot.
All right, we'll see you in 2025.
Sakurai added more spirits in case he must defeat the spirits and cleanse the land.
Oh man.
Yeah, did any stand out to you, Casey?
Yeah, like you said a couple that are really high on my list, but I just weren't thinking of because, like, weirdly, I don't actually jump into a lot of game DLC. Like, I'm usually fine with whatever my experience was and jumping into the next thing. Every now and then, I'll be like, all right, I just need more of whatever this game has to offer. So I don't have any like the biggest ones are probably like GTA 4. Like, their 3 story expansions were phenomenal.
Yeah, the Ballad of Gay Tony and Lost in the Damned.
Lost in the Damned. Oh wait, did I say 3?
Yeah, I think it was just 2. I think
it was just 2. Okay.
I think it was announced as 3, and then only 2 came out.
They only did 2. Yeah. But yeah, those were great. Like it was, and they did sort of what you're saying. Like they added more to the base game, and then the wrinkle was you're a different character. You're seeing the world, that society from a slightly different perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what was extra cool about that was that they took place in the same timeline as the first story. And then after the second one, after the third one came out, that also took place in the same time as the first and second story. So you were seeing how each of their stories intersected at different points. So it was just really, like, a really fun way to like just look at, to one, get to get more story in that world, and then 2, kind of get more perspective on the original story, which I liked a lot from that game.
Mm-hmm.
So like that was really good. These are much smaller. The DLC for Sifu, because again, like the thing that hooks me is like a game that I don't want to stop playing, but like it has an end. So it's like, all right, well, I should probably move on now. Sifu did exactly what I wanted it to do, which was just give me more. Like give me a way to keep playing this whenever, like with no strings attached. And its DLC was just sort of like scenario themed, like fight rooms. So like they added like challenges and like costumes and like honestly cool stuff. And they did the exact same thing where like, yes, I love the base mechanics, I'm gonna get to play around with it, but here's a wrinkle. Every time you dodge an attack, you get Matrix like slow-mo, and then they make the scenario be where you're Neo and fighting all the agents from Matrix Reloaded.
Yeah.
So like they just dialing up the, hey, this is an homage to action movies to 11, and it's like naturally we're just gonna make an homage using these weird mechanics and just have fun with the gameplay that you like so much in the base game.
Yeah.
So like that was really fun. And another one that springs to mind, again, not like a major expansion, but Sunbreak for Monster Hunter Rise.
Oh yeah.
Like once I got the hang of that game's core mechanic, which was the wire bug, they immediately seized on the fact that this is good, people like this, and then they just doubled it. Like whatever you were able to do with that game, they just gave you the same amount again. And like they allowed you to switch between like preset loadouts in the middle of fighting. So like you just felt like a straight badass. And like it felt like a reward for like mastering like those skills in the base game. Now it's like, hey, now do it again and do it, and now do them together. Yeah. Like, it was so fun, so satisfying.
Yeah, these it was funny when I looked up, so a lot of those were on lists when I looked up just to refresh myself. I was like best DLC expansions ever. I was looking at various websites lists, and a lot of them I completely missed because I grew up a console player, and like these expansions and stuff, that was just the realm of PC gaming, right? That's where you'd get StarCraft and Warcraft expansions. You'd get all the Half-Life expansions, and then going on to Diablo and on to Bethesda games and everything. And so it was stuff that I just didn't, just wasn't a thing in my games until, Nick, you goofed about it, but like the Halo 2 map pack was like one of the first things I remember being like, oh shit, like,
yeah,
there's more. Like, oh, there's more, and I gotta buy this disc, and I got more.
Man, I was young and dumb at the time, and I'm still young and dumb. But when that was released as like a disc, I was like, oh man, there's more Halo 2 content. Not realizing until I got home, it's just like maps for the game, and I'm like, I remember it.
You just assumed it was gonna be like more story stuff.
I don't remember what I assumed it was, but I kept like putting it in the console. I'm like, where's the game?
Like where's the more game?
I was like, this is like a cool, like you got a whole new case for it and everything.
Yeah.
Bamboozled. That's when I knew the games industry was going to shit.
Yep. Yeah. You really destroyed your hopes so early.
I genuinely liked how Halo handled their expansions, because you could pay to get into all the map packs, but after a set amount of time, they would just release them so that the community wouldn't be fragmented anymore.
Yeah.
So you would just get them. It was like early access. That's basically what they were doing.
I think the first expansion I ever remember really paying money for was Rome Total War, like the Barbarian expansion. They had you guys wouldn't play any of that shit. But then the first like real big one was Shivering Isles for Oblivion.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah,
that was the one I remember. Like big expansions for consoles kind of taking off was after that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
because they had multiple expansions for Oblivion, right? Wasn't it just Shivering Isles? I think they had a couple others, smaller ones.
Skyrim never had an expansion, did it?
You might be right. Skyrim added something like, they added something with like werewolves and vampires or something, and there was something with like a house. I remember
Skyrim.
Yeah, Skyrim.
No, they made it spooky Skyrim, werewolves and like Frankensteins and stuff.
I mean, you could already do vampires and werewolves in Skyrim, but they had like they added some stuff that was more specific to those quest lines.
Gotcha. But none of them were like a big beefy like Dragonborn, Dawnguard, and Hearthfire. But I guess none of them are really talked about in the same way that like a Blood and Wine or
they were pretty small. They were
There's the Mass Effect ones. People like the Citadel, Mass Effect Citadel.
That was the one that was like, you got your crew back together for like a party.
That's nice.
Oh yeah, I do remember that.
And then there was one, the Shadow Broker. That was in Mass Effect 2, I think.
Okay.
Apparently that had like a really good story, but I never touched that.
Yeah.
You know what?
You
know what the best expansions really are, though.
What's that?
The sim expansions with pets and babies and pools.
I mean, that's how they've made their fortune is by just selling that shit to people. Yeah, it's funny because it feels like the age of expansion is kind of like we were mentioning earlier. The definition's like a little wobbly, just because so many games are ongoing now, and it's not just like you get for something like Destiny 2, like we mentioned, you do get or Final Fantasy 14, you get those every couple of years, like a major drop that's like ostensibly a new release. But in the meantime, you get these other small updates. Like, I don't know. Like, do you count like all the post-release like Smash characters or all the post-release like Mario?
I mean, they're definitely DLC.
Yeah, it's just packaged differently, I guess.
I mean, that's the thing for a fighting game. Like, yes, like what. Outside of something like Street Fighter 6, which now has this big story mode thing attached to it, which they have on top of characters added new, because I think every new character they get also has like a branch in that open world story.
Yeah.
So like conventional fighting games, like that's the game. Like a new character opens up new shit for everyone, because how does that character act and react to everyone else on the roster? Like, so like it makes sense in that world. So yes, that still counts.
I mean, I think that like be an expansion at this point. If you're gonna ask people to buy extra content for your game, it's gotta be meaty to say like, hey, we want $20 or $40 for it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
No, you know what? Nope, that's wrong, because people buy skins for $20 because they're idiots.
It's not like you're the best with your money. There's a lot of dumb shit you buy. Don't judge us idiots. I don't know why I'm us idiots. I don't even buy skins. Who am I defending right now? When you mention fighting games,
you bought a dog in Sea of Thieves.
I bought it.
It's not a skin.
I bought it for entertainment. Sorry for trying to make a fucking 10 hours of streaming entertaining. Sorry.
If you bought a skin for that dog that made a cat, then you'd have a dog in this fight.
Get out of town. Nonsense. It's interesting how the fighting games used to, like in the old 90s Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat days, you would just get stuff like Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo or Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. It would just be like, a year later, here's the version of the game with extra characters and shit and some tweaks and stuff. And now it's almost just like, I guess how like Atlas does their like Persona 4 Golden, Persona 5 Royal kind of things. Even now with Shin Megami 5 Vengeance, where it's like, this is just now the new version of the original game with its new stuff kind of woven into it.
Yeah, it's the Game of the Year edition. Before the Game of the Year edition.
Honestly, yeah.
XCOM 2's War of the Chosen that like basically fixed the game for everybody.
Congrats on
I like when DLC does that, like when it makes the base game better and also introduces a bunch of new stuff.
Like Fallout 3, where they stop the game from ending.
Yeah, God.
Like you get to the end of that game and like you can't play it anymore. They're like, all right, the DLC now opens the world
just finish the game and they're like, you're done. You don't know.
You can go back and do the stuff you didn't do.
Go do something better with your life.
So in conclusion, is Elden Ring the greatest is Shadow of the Erdtree the greatest DLC of all time? Who knows?
I mean, probably not.
I mean,
the field.
It's a wild claim.
I think for me, like it elevates a game that I already love to even higher heights. Whereas something like Phantom Liberty took a game that I liked after they fixed it to a game that I really liked because that storyline was like way better than the main storyline. So yeah, I don't know. I like it. I think Marty brought up earlier about expansions. Him wanting expansions to do something different or be kind of zany and kind of weird. For me, it was like I just wanted more Elden Ring. I wanted more of that world to explore, more bosses to fight, and I got exactly that. And it's like I think the exploration, while there's not as much to find, I would agree with that. There's not as many dungeons and all that. I didn't go in expecting that. I'm kind of glad there isn't because there's like too many in the base game. I would argue because a lot of them became very similar. And this one in the expansion, like the dungeons are all relatively pretty unique with different visual styles and stuff like that. They definitely took some of that feedback to heart. And also like
the jar dungeon that Jack and I did on stream last week was an excellent little dungeon to stumble across.
Yeah, and like the dungeons in this one aren't just in the base game. A lot of the dungeons unless they're like a key dungeon to get to the next place, not the castles, but like the actual like underground stuff. They would usually you would do the boss and then go transport back to the beginning, right?
Yeah.
And this DLC, a lot of those dungeons take you to entirely new areas when you're done with it. As a
it like changes your elevation or gets you through like an impassable mountain or whatever.
Or entire new regions.
New regions. There you go.
Okay, so they're putting to use some stuff. I guess they learned from the designs they chose in the first game, which is always nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's interesting that stuff positioned as expansions, they're usually considered good when they're just more of the same thing. Whereas if it was a full-on sequel and it was more of the same thing, folks might be like, well, this is just the same game.
Yeah, I guess like expansion packs and DLC is almost considered like a victory lap, I guess. Like,
yeah.
Oh, you made such a cool game. Just run it back a little bit tighter and everyone will be fine. Whereas, if they do make an Elden Ring 2, which I'm sure they will because it sold so many fucking millions of copies. I feel like they have to figure out how to one-up themselves, which seems difficult.
Yeah.
It's like Hero Combat, but with all the weapons options that
they really need to like. I can't believe they haven't used that weapon system for more things. It's so good.
Monolith copywrote it.
What?
Monolith was able to they trademarked it. They looked at the combat system in Sekiro and we're going to trademark that. It's good. We're going to put it alongside the Nemesis system. You guys can't do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was thinking Monolith, like the people that made Bayonetta or whatever. Yeah. Or I mean, it's Xenoblade. Yeah. I know mixed Bayonetta.
All right.
Haven't played.
We have a lot of super chats before we get into stuff we've been playing.
Ooh, let's get it.
And I'm gonna start reading them with my mouth. Quintuple A with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. Damn it, Eric. Do it before the message is read. I'm gonna be honest.
He put
long time ago.
Chief,
I don't remember.
Chief on my face.
Oh, congrats! It's actually the Mjolnir armor, Nick. Master Chief is the man who wears it. It's like Frankenstein and Frankenstein's son, Frankenstein's doctor,
son of Frankenstein's
pediatrician. Red Dwarf for the $10 dono. Thank you so much. Speaking of Marvel vs. Capcom, what's your favorite voiced song in a game? Mine is the Snake Eater song. That was gonna be mine. Gonna Take You for a Ride is also a very good one. Also, a lot of the tunes that are in Jet Set Radio that were written for Jet Set Radio are really hot jams. Man,
that's a really good question. Yeah, I don't think I have
Snake Eater
an answer at the top of my head.
Like Snake Eater is so good.
Voiced like just
like a song has like vocals in it.
Lyrics. Yeah, but that was written for a game, not like a deal drop.
Well, you know what? I really like.
I want people to remember it because Splinter Cell Conviction when he finds out the truth about his daughter, and you just go on a rampage. It's great.
Does he sing it?
No, that'd be fucking hilarious.
Guys who killed my daughter.
Like he just breaks into song.
Stray Gods. That was really for the game.
that whole game is singing.
Great Mighty Pooh.
I really like the Mario Odyssey song. Jump Up
Superstar.
Jump Up Superstar. Yeah. Like, that's a good ass song, and it has such a good moment in the game where it's played.
Yeah,
like it's just all celebratory and like nostalgia dripping. Like, oh, it's actually a dope ass segment.
It's such a cool because when you first enter that city, it's all dark and like it's like under siege by like Bowser shit, and it's like a terrible like it's raining and it's like fuck, this place is awful. And then you have that celebration, and then the sun comes out and like the city's bright and it's like a really fun open world level.
Yeah.
And, that's really good stuff. Yeah, you're mentioning good ones. Obviously, the Persona games, incredible songs. And
the Sonic Adventure 2 soundtrack. Yeah.
Pumpkin Hill. I have
the whole soundtrack, not even just Pumpkin Hill. Pumpkin Hill is great, but the whole fucking Sonic 2 soundtrack.
I had a headline in my back pocket that Pumpkin Hill is an A+ song in a D+ game. That I really want to write because I did not enjoy Sonic Adventure 2 nearly as much as Sonic Adventure 1, but that Pumpkin Hill, this Halloween, we're playing Pumpkin Hill on Halloween.
Nope, I have the best one.
All right, your turn.
The song from Rogue Warrior that we just heard.
Oh, I wasn't allowed to be on that stream, even though I was the victor.
That wasn't even a song. Like they stole words from Mickey Rourke's mouth to cut that rap song together.
Yeah,
it was perfect.
They stole words from his mouth.
That was nuts.
Yeah, Near Automata, the Robot Village. Yeah, Pascal's Village is really good. Still Alive from Portal. I'm also shocked.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, the not just Red Dead Redemption, but almost all of anytime they played music with lyrics of Red Dead Redemption 2, like near the end of the game, and then like in the prologue, remember? The D'Angelo song.
Yeah, there's a D'Angelo song in Red Dead 2. This sounds like I made this up. Unshaken. Yeah.
D'Angelo sings that?
Yeah, it's literally D'Angelo.
No, because they performed Unshaken at the Game Awards when that like D'Angelo didn't sing that.
Yes, that's the song in the game.
Okay, are we thinking of two different D'Angelos?
No, D'Angelo, the D'Angelo, the music video where the whole time you're like, oh
yeah, where like, how does it feel?
Yeah.
Eric's got it up on screen to prove you right.
I mean, that's just a video that just says his name. I don't know if that proves me right.
Yeah, like there's no context for that information.
Yes, R&B D'Angelo. I feel like this is that Conan O'Brien skit with the other guy where it's like, oh, the financier. Is that who we're talking about? But yeah, shout out to D'Angelo.
Wow. D'Angelo
Red Dwarf. Now. That Red Dwarf, that might be the record for the super chat that has elicited the most conversation. So congrats, Red Dwarf. Blue Lagoon with a $10 dono. Thank you so much. I think part of why it feels so hard is because of the Shadow Ashes system. Depending on how many boss fights, how many you find, boss fights are either overtuned or one-shot you or difficult but fair. RNGesus indeed. Yeah, it is very much
where on the stat sheet does it even show you those are doing anything? Because I wouldn't have known unless I
it's the gold. It's the gold ones. When you open up if you go to like your status, you'll see your numbers in gold, and it shows like how much. Oh, your stats are actually this much higher because of that. Do you mean like what the game does not explicitly tell you like, hey, this is the new version of leveling up. You really need to pay attention to this.
Yeah, I feel like they're gonna handle it slightly better.
I mean, it's FromSoft. They're not gonna.
So that stuff legitimately does not have any effect on the base game.
When you leave the Shadow Realm, it just takes that away from you.
But the base game's soul mechanic and leveling up your soul level still happens.
That's still in the game. So you beat a boss, you get 200,000 runes, you can level up.
So you can finish all of Erdtree per se, like get like 30, 40 levels fucking around over there, and then go back to the base game and then be over leveled for the base game.
Yeah, it just your shadow stuff won't count towards it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, but your core level, will keep going up.
All right.
Thank you, Blue Lagoon. Superb Owner, been a member of the tip jar for 7 months. Thank you so much, Superb Owner. And two down, you had a super chat with a $2 dono. Hellblade 2 spoiler discussion when? Yes, I've already forgot a lot.
I feel like is there anything to spoil in that game, really?
I would have a hard time telling you things about the story that feel like a spoiler.
Yeah.
Like things kept happening.
Doesn't have
as I was
much
streaming it, I was like, I don't know why
it.
I'm doing any of this, and I don't know who these people are. but I'm glad I'm helping them. I think.
There's a lot of symbolism in the story.
Sure, yeah, the metaphors and whatnot.
Yeah,
Similes,
metaphor
allegories.
of the game.
Damn, no, Metaphor the game is coming out October 11th. Metaphor ReFantazio coming this fall from the creators of Persona 3, 4, and 5 and Catherine. Montequila and a new member. £5 dono. Thank you so much, Montequila. People are all riled up about Erdtree's difficulty because of the Steam reviews, when lots of those are also about PC performance, which From never fixed. Guys, is it time for us to admit playing games on personal computers is stupid and we should play video games on consoles as God himself demanded? It sucks. That really fucking sucks that these games are huge and they get released on PC and they are shitty ports.
Can't figure it out.
They've been doing this since fucking Dark Souls 1 when like the community had to fix this. What are we doing? Give your shit together.
Yeah, people have kind of been making the point, like, they say games journalism mode and all that kind of stuff. It's like, these people really don't realize, like, we go in with code early. We didn't get code early for this one. I don't know why. FromSoftware or Namco, looking at you. But
Nick, you need to request code. That is how it works.
No, they sent me Elden Ring without asking. Whatever.
You worked at the Escapist. You don't work there anymore.
We're bigger than the Escapist was. But
just ask for code.
Anyways,
send a goddamn email.
We play the game before there's any guides, before there's any help, before there's anything. And
you got a mouse in your pocket? You didn't play this game before. I'm definitely not using help. Or I know I am using help.
The royal we.
Yeah, the
royal we.
The larger games media pool. Whatever. I'm bad now. I don't want to talk about this anymore.
Listen, I wrote the guide for Dark Souls 1, so I don't have anything to prove to anyone. Was it a good guide?
You did it.
No. Did it get completely rewritten? It did. Do I care? I don't. Ridiculous. With a $5 dono, thank you so much, Ridiculous. If the enemy's weakness isn't a great sword to the face, then the game's wrong and not for me. Can't wait to play DLC just to have to beat half the game again. It's good. I feel like anyone who liked Elden Ring is going to like this.
It's just more Elden Ring, honestly.
If you had to change your entire build to be...
No, before the DLC came out last week, I tinkered. I had a shit ton of larval tears, and I tinkered with a couple builds. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go like a real high dex bleed build, or maybe I'll be a big chunky beefster. But I just kept being like, no, I like being a magician because I like being a coward and being afraid of everything and staying far back, and then also having a cool blade and a katana and slicing fools if they get too close.
I did
this is how I'm most comfortable.
I did the whole dex build that everybody's complained about, where you have the katana and the dex build, and it's like, if you have that build, then you're screwed for a lot of these bosses. So I've had to retool myself to be a great sword. Yeah, good luck. When you get to the harder bosses, it doesn't really do a whole lot.
The thing is, I dual wield katanas specifically for bosses right now. Like most of the regular enemies. Yeah, I'll use two. For most of the regular enemies, I actually do have a big ass Morningstar mace with juiced up with electricity.
Yeah.
So that gets the job done for the regular boyos. But I gotta move quicker with the bosses.
I have the +10 Moonveil sword. I have the +10.
Oh yeah, it's the katana I use.
Yeah, and I had another one that's +10, but then I couldn't beat some of the bosses with that. So then I found this new great sword that's got prongs on the end of it, and it's got this ghost veil sheath to it, and it just destroys.
I feel like everyone should get a pen and paper and try to draw the great sword with prongs at the end in a ghost sheath. I feel like mine would just look like a weird sex toy.
I just got the martial arts set, and I really want to level that up and use it.
So how does that work? Is that a thing you wear? Is it gloves or something?
Yeah.
No, I'm just curious. It's like a weapon you equip, but it's
yeah.
Okay.
Turns you into Kung Fu Kenny.
Hey.
Yes, I think it's Elfin Steeple just stuck. I think that's right. Let me look up that weapon.
Elfin Steeple. That sounds like an anime I did not watch. Stalindrip.
Yeah, it's that weapon. Elfin Steeple.
$10 dono. Thank you so much, Stalindrip. Well, I don't think it's a bad DLC. Calling it the best ever is really a tall ask. I feel too many of its mechanics are divisive or make you feel bad if you don't perfectly click with you to call it that. I mean, it was. I'm going to be honest. This title was clickbait. It was clickbait. We did talk about it, but Nick went rogue to get people to watch, and I'm going to be honest, it worked.
What'd I do?
You simpletons clicked on the link, and welcome, and thank you for being great, and I apologize for calling you simpletons. I don't think you can call anything the best. I think everything needs like a buffer. I don't think you can rank things until a certain amount of time has passed. I don't know what that time is. We need like a
question mark. I didn't make a definitive statement. I made a
question mark. Okay, yeah, that'll hold up in court. Your Honor, I put a question mark. The Beagle Boy nerd with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. The New Vegas expansions also come to mind. People really like New Vegas, don't they?
I didn't know they had expansions.
Yeah. There's it's called Old Vegas. What if there was an Ocean's 11 expansion?
There was Ocean's, the one with Sandra Bullock and Rihanna.
That's an expansion to the Ocean's trilogy.
They just did it again and made them all girls.
Glorbus, welcome to the Green Gang. Thank you so much, Glorbus. Elise T with a $5 dono. I always really liked that Borderlands 2 and 3 DLCs. Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep was good enough to get its own spin-off game. Yeah, it's another big one.
Yeah, the Borderlands 2 DLCs were fantastic.
Really good. I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't remember what Borderlands 3 had.
I stopped playing. I never finished 3. 3 was super boring to me.
Yeah.
I just played Tiny Tina's Wonderlands a couple weeks ago, and I had a pretty good time with it, actually.
Oh yeah,
that one, that's okay. I reviewed that. It was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
It's good. Turn my brain off game for a few hours.
Mm-hmm. Fungus Finder with a $2 dono. Brood War. I think that's a StarCraft.
Nerd.
You can't say that. You can't say that. You
We're
just
all
kept
nerds
mumbling about
here.
a fucking thorny greatsword that you found.
Yeah, if what Eric was putting up was the sword Nick has, I think I also have that. And I thought this is very strange looking. I've not used it. There's a lot of weapons I've not used.
Anytime I get look at that weapon. Get out of town. I don't like that weapon.
All the barbs on it rips.
Yeah, it's too many barbs.
It looks like it belongs on a church.
It does. It probably came off of one.
He just ripped it off right gate.
Stole it from a pontiff. Ben Katz with a $2 dono. $2 to say I hate that damn hippo.
Oh yeah, that boss is an asshole.
You know what? I like anytime I see something that's like a cool critter. Like I'm a big fan of cool critters, and we saw a cool critter there, and oh my god, what has happened? Okay, I didn't see what was going on with their faces, but I looked at Casey. You were like mumbling, you were like tittering with your mouth, and I was like, "What's wrong with you?"
I was playing with the hippo filter.
Yeah, I noticed. How come my hippo is looking down and your hippo is looking forward, and I'm looking forward? Did you say I have a fat head?
Yeah, your hippo head is fat as hell.
Get the fuck out of here. Jim Machete, thank you so much. In the tip jar for 7 months. And Quintuple A with a $5 dono. Damn it, Eric. Lol. I don't know when that was, but it couldn't pertain to any of this. Guys, it's time to talk about what we've been playing, what we've been watching.
Can we start? Have you been watching The Acolyte? Can we start there?
We can start on The Acolyte. Let's do no spoilers on The Acolyte. New spoilers on The Acolyte.
All right.
Surprisingly,
we're going to talk about it in 2 weeks, so I want to know what you're thinking.
Surprisingly, I'm thumbs up on The Acolyte.
Okay.
Last night's episode, I think was very cool. Yeah, but I hate most Star Wars. I wasn't very high. By the end of Ahsoka, I wasn't very high on it. It wasn't very high in Obi-Wan by the end of it. Wasn't very high in Mando 3. But I'm really digging this. And I think last night's episode I thought was a great visual showpiece with some of the coolest Star Wars action I've ever seen. I can't fully. It's all going to depend how they land the plane in terms of the story. I've liked the reveals so far. So we'll see if they manage to stick a landing or if they shit the bed.
Does the show feel like to you like we started in the middle of a story and it just
very much so feels like you're dropped in this world in media res? Yeah,
I want to know why Disney doesn't let their shows breathe. Like, why are they 30 minutes? I don't get it. Like,
the last week's episode was like 24 minutes. It was crazy how short that episode was.
Yeah, this whole episode could have been 50 minutes, and I'm like, it would have been great.
Yeah, it feels like last week and this week should have been the same length. I don't know. I mean, It's because all these things they kind of view as short mini series and not like long form. Like they're never like, oh, this is going to be the first season of 10 seasons or something like that. And so they kind of just are just like, well, fuck, we have a budget for 6 episodes and or 6 hours or whatever, and we gotta get to it right away.
I just don't get it. Like, you want to be prestige TV or not? Like they're in this weird middle ground where they like the set designs look great now between Andor, Ahsoka, and now this. Like they've stopped using the volume all the time. It looks good. The effects and everything have really taken a big step up. Like it feels like cinema level Star Wars to me, at least in the effects department at this point.
You know who's great? I already forgot his name. Who's that little critter who's sniffing out? Sniffing out them. He's like Basil. Yeah. He's this little dude. He's like this little like fucking aardvark man that they go down to a planet and they have him like smell this girl's clothes and like go find this girl for us. And so they're following this little aardvark man. And let me tell you, he's great. As someone who likes the weird little dudes in Star Wars, big thumbs up for Basil.
That exact scene happened in the Avatar TV show.
It's a Filoni. Yeah, it's a show that I go between like, man, I really dig this, and then they get into some of the dialogue and it just falls real quick. Like even the main villain guy's dialogue, I'm like, this just doesn't feel like it fits. Something feels off.
It's definitely not as well written as Andor. I think I just went in with really low expectations and it's been exceeding them, and so I think that's just kind of where I am. Not Andor level, but certainly not Obi-Wan level. Few things are Obi-Wan level. It's definitely not Book of Boba Fett level.
Sorry, there's Book of Boba Fett, which is like at the bottom of the ground, and then Obi-Wan a little bit above that, and then you get Mando 1, 2. Well, no, 3's above that, then Mando 1, 2. I don't know. I like I said, I loved Ahsoka for what it was. But yeah, this show's like, I think the frustrating part to me is like I have read the High Republic books, and I've kind of been tweeting about that. And I'm like, there's a lot of interesting shit they could use there. And I guess this is set after the events of those books, like way after, which is weird to me because like there's so much good, like morally gray drama in the books, and there's so much material they could use. Like I don't understand what Disney's thing is with not adapting what they have that works. Like even the Star Wars fans that are like kind of against Star Wars, a lot of them like the books. They're good. Yeah. And so I just don't understand why they keep doing this, where it's like
that could honestly be the reason why they are staying away from them. Because if they know that fan base, and I'm sure they do, and they like a thing, as soon as the new stuff touches it, then that becomes like, you didn't do it exactly how I remember it from my childhood, and you know what I mean. Make something new is always the better option. Like I think I'll stick to that. Well, but in that regard, I'm curious if this paints a picture of that High Republic universe as something bigger and more interesting that you want to see more stories in, or is it kind of like?
Well, that's my problem with the show. It's like, oh, it's set during the High Republic, but if you haven't read the books or anything, like you wouldn't know the difference between this and.
So this doesn't do anything to really like explain or set it apart from the old
other than like they're just still being a shit ton of Jedis and everything, and like Jedi academies on different planets and everything.
It just hasn't.
I often forget that it takes place then. Yeah.
It hasn't like it hasn't set the stage for the universe and being like in this, or the galaxy, whatever, Star Wars, in like this different time period and different realm, and it almost like if you go back and watch the prequels and all that, even like the dialogue just feels too modern, even though it's back in time. Like this is over 100 years before the prequels.
Yeah, like how does tech, like do they do nothing with like the robots and technology as well? Like it's like this is the same shit that that we're gonna have thousands and thousands of years from now.
No, I mean they do a good job
like, with the spaceships and the droids and whatnot. No, like we don't see the creation of like the first sentient droid or something like that. That's what I'm curious about.
Those have been around for
like the main character's got a little like almost like a little like the robo companion in Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order.
Don't forget,
and they're still just as like
he's like a little guy. Yeah, he's like smaller though. He looks like a little like almost like a tablet.
Don't forget, like Knights of the Old Republic takes place like thousands of years before even this, and they already had all this technology and droids.
AK-47.
Star Wars timelines are weird, so don't try to even piece it.
Yeah, it's like it's like they're stuck in stasis then, right? Because like no matter how many thousand years forwards or backwards, like fucking none of the tech changes.
Yeah.
Like why is this still this is still. I don't know. I like
when
when
you can travel in hyperspace. How much more tech do you need? But I
guess there's a limit to tech. Yeah.
Yeah. There is a. The thing the show does well, I think, is like showing the hubris of the Jedi. Is like, oh, these people won't be that bad. They won't do this. They won't do that. They fight. They don't fight dirty. Oh God, they stab my face off. Like, yes, they do fight dirty. They don't have any morals or justifications for things. So I like that aspect of it. Like, it really is showing like the Jedi, like, and that's what the High Republic's all about. It's like basically the Jedi, like, just the police of the galaxy, but also like just way overconfident, not ready for the threats coming their way because they haven't fought a threat in a long time, kind of thing.
Sounds like a regular police.
So yeah, I mean, there's definitely aspects of the show I like. It's like with every Star Wars show that they've done, I'm just frustrated. They're all 20 or 30 minutes, and it's like there's no time for anything to breathe. There's no time for me to get used to know these characters, to care about them, anything. That's my big problem with like them. Yeah, except Basil. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think the writing goes from like being okay to very weak in the show.
Yeah, I mean, some of it, like Darren wrote about how it's very much, and his last week's backdrop very much feels like in conversation with the prequels, and I feel like some of that stilted writing can feel very prequely. But it's like you just make it sound better.
Well, that's what they needed. Like, even Marvel seems to be figuring out, because that story just came out today about Fantastic Four being set in the 1960s. And it's in its own Marvel, timeline. Its own universe and all that. Like, just let Star Wars do that. Stop trying to canonize everything. Just tell interesting, good stories.
But it doesn't all have to follow our canon.
It doesn't all have to connect. It doesn't have to all feed together. Like, stop with this shit. Just show me a good Star Wars story. I don't give a fuck about the Death Star anymore.
Except if it's Andor season 2, in which case, please tell me more about this.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Ben Mendelsohn coming back for Andor season 2. Hell yeah, Krennic. Y'all, where are my Krennic heads at?
I don't know what that word is.
Krennic is the name of a man played by Ben Mendelsohn in the movie Rogue One.
Bad boy.
He was also.
Which one is he?
He's the bad guy. He's kind of like the guy that Vader keeps like treating like a little bitch in Rogue One.
Vader does that to a lot of people, so that's really
true.
It doesn't really narrow down the options.
Yeah, he's just he's a shit dude. He gets killed at the end. I think Diego Luna kills him, maybe or doesn't. I don't remember. I don't know what's going on in Rogue One.
That's nice.
Shout out to Rogue One. Reaper's Grim with a $5 Canadian dono. Thank you so much. The origin story of the Force is super messed up, so I doubt they'll ever cover it. What does that mean?
Yeah, it has something to do with that stupid like planet and like the father, brother, sister.
Shit that they did in the Clone Wars, right?
Yeah, I hated that episode. I was like, this is so up its own ass. Get me off this planet.
Get me off this planet. I don't want to be in your weird realm.
The High Republic books are like actually dark as shit. Like, there's like brain-eating aliens and like torture and all this kinds of stuff. Like, Jedi get fucked up in those books.
I just want Star Wars horror. So make a Star Wars horror movie. It sounds like I was saying Star Wars horror.
Yeah,
right? A Star Wars horror film, a scary film.
Star Wars,
a Star Wars horror, or
you need a Star Wars horror.
The High Republic book, Into the Dark, is basically a horror book.
Yeah, but I don't want to read. I want to read with my eyes.
Well, like I said, they have so much cool material they could expand to TV and movies, and they just don't.
It's already a book.
You know what show is really good is House of the Dragon.
Yeah, I'm still really enjoying it. There's no one nice on that show. They need one nice.
Everybody's bad. Everybody's bad.
One nice character.
Even the characters. Even the 5 minutes you get of the whatchamacallit, the Starks, even they're assholes.
Yeah.
Well, like the old school Starks.
They're just living on the wall. It's all cold as shit up there.
He's like, I got this wall to defend. Why do you think we built 700 feet of wall, you idiot? for people.
Yeah, good. I haven't watched the new Boys yet. I gotta like any of the new season of the Boys, and then the Bear comes out like I think now. I think the Bear is available now, the entire season.
Why is so much Bear coming out so fast? Is that not odd?
Once a year.
They
I feel like they
no special
just get
effects,
it done real quick.
CGI robots. Yeah,
there's no special effects. What do you mean? That freezer was totally CGI generated.
It was on the volume. The whole restaurant's on the volume. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's like a small writer's room, and they like they break the story. They film in Chicago like early in the year, and I don't know. I guess they know what it is, and editing doesn't take that long. And I hope they announce that
he's been in that freezer. He's been in that freezer for 6 months now.
So like when something ends, the character you can kind of assume they like got out of it, right?
No, they didn't let him out. He's still in there.
Oh no, Army's dead. But yes, very excited to watch the Bear. Stalin Drip, thank you so much on their $5 dono. Star Wars just needs good writers. The issue is it keeps having poor writers, and it kills the show and feeds the trolls. I said it before, and I'll say it again. You gotta hire people like they did for Andor. You gotta hire people who do not like Star Wars, and then they will write some great fucking Star Wars. It'll be great.
Weren't people split on Andor too, though?
Anyone who doesn't like Andor can go to hell.
Well, it's the hardcore Star Wars fans were kind of split on it because it was boring.
Yeah, like it's not what they wanted, but then again, what is, right?
This is what I wanted.
Yeah.
And that's all that really matters. Orange Kitty, been in the Green Gang for 7 months. Thank you so much. Where's my Abeloth stands at? Is Abeloth a Star Wars man? What's the deal with Abeloth?
I don't know who that is.
I don't know.
On Wikipedia, what the fuck's going on with Abeloth? Self-styled as the beloved Queen of the Stars, is also known as the Bringer of Chaos or the Destructor. She sounds
Star Wars
like
character?
Elden Ring villain. Yeah, she sounds like an Elden Ring villain, though. Abeloth, beloved Queen of the Stars, sounds like someone that I would summon someone better than me to help me beat in Elden Ring. That's what that sounds like. King Dad, thank you so much for the $2 dono. Is no one going to point out read with my eyes? Well, what are you going to read with? You can read with your ears if you're listening to like another human narrate it.
Technically,
does that count as reading?
Well, you can technically read with your fingers if you're blind.
That's true.
Braille.
Book of
You just gotta learn Braille.
Book of Eli. Denzel learned it. Spoilers.
Accessibility.
I think it's a spoiler. I think that's just the movie. He's blind.
Yeah, he's blind.
I said it first. Just
at the start.
Get out of chat.
You can't just yell at people in chat for saying the same Braille joke as you. American Fear with a $2 dono. Thank you so much. He's reading with his mouth right now. Get your mouth out of my words. Is anyone? What else have you been playing? What have you been playing, Casey? Tell us.
I dabbled a little in Little Kitty Big City. Been playing it. Well, I say playing it. My son's been playing it. Me and my fiance were watching him for our wedding streams this past Friday. That game is delightful. It's just fun writing.
Yeah.
Nice, really like funny, objectives in the little. What's that term you like to use? Like kind of like mini open world,
a micro open world.
Yeah, micro open world.
You were so close, Casey.
I was very close.
You can call it mini. That's fine. Same thing.
And like it just has a lighter tone. And the fact that you are in control of the cat makes a world of difference. Like, yes, I'm talking about Stray once again. Yeah, I apologize if you're sick of hearing me talk about Stray.
Stray catching strays.
Because here's the thing. Like, I really liked the world building in Stray, but like it was a little too focused on that and like leading you by the hand through like its story beats and sections. So like I never really felt like I was getting an interactive, like a truly interactive experience. Like, yes, I was making a cat do certain things, but like it was via a predetermined path. Yeah, like there's room for experimentation in Little Kitty Big City. Like you have an objective, which is one of the first ones is collect 25 shinies. And you can go in like one of many different directions and talk with different characters and do different things in order to collect enough stuff to then come back and get to the next story beat. which then gives you an ability that gives you like you get the ability to climb ivy. So now the world, like you've seen ivy all over the place, you couldn't interact with it. Now the world's just gotten a little bigger for you, and that's really satisfying. That feels like a game, right? It feels like I am a cat exploring this city, whereas Stray did not.
Why you don't gotta put one cat down to prop another cat up.
Black cats always been better than orange cats. Everybody knows
You don't gotta drown one cat in order to raise another cat. I do really like Little Kitty Big C. I like these little playful. I like it more than Untitled Goose Game because Untitled Goose Game almost felt too
it's a little
not structured enough.
Yeah, it's a little
this
flat.
Structure I think works really well. Yeah.
Like this is a nice happy medium between those two sorts of plays and animal simulators.
Yeah.
But I've also I finished this last week, but we didn't get to talk about it. I went back to Nine Souls. Like after I finished it for review, I've been obsessed with it. Like I'm in the Nine Souls Reddit, and so I'm just seeing what other people are saying and talking about. And I learned that apparently the final boss has a third phase that I just didn't see because I didn't do the requisite whatever. And the requisite whatever essentially is nearly 100%ing the game. So I went back into my save, which luckily they let you do. You start before like the point of no return. And I just went back, collected all the things I need to do, found rather large sections of the game that I just had not touched. Like they weren't like massive like things, but like they were like little mini bosses that I skipped over. There's like a big platforming challenge that I never got to see, and just collected all the remaining whatever, got some new interactions with the characters that I hadn't seen yet. And then unlock that final phase for the last boss. And she's honestly one of my favorite bosses I've ever freaking played against in a game. Like it was absolutely worth it. And that game desperately needs DLC. Like it needs a boss rush mode or something. Because like not even just the final boss, many of the bosses in that game are just fantastic feeling fights. And like I really like I've gotten enough of the exploration. Like that wasn't his strong suit. But I could fight some of those bosses forever, like just as I'm feeling like I got a little free time. Let me go jump in and do a couple of runs against this. Like, let me perfect what I already know about this boss's style. Like, it's so fun to play. If you've not started playing Nine Souls, give it a shot. It is so worth it.
Did you? Yahtzee was complaining about some boss he was stuck at.
Yeah, he just said he beat her.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, he mentioned it earlier today.
That's great. Yeah, I'm excited.
It's great. That boss he was talking about is my favorite boss. Like that is my favorite boss in the game. And then my second favorite boss is the last boss.
Hell yeah.
And outside of that, haven't been watching anything current really. I did start and finish Solo Leveling. I was not aware that was only 13 episodes, so I'm really mad.
Oh yeah.
Because that show is fucking good.
Yeah.
Like people have been hyping this show, so I was hoping I wasn't going in and thinking like, damn, everybody's talking about it being really, really good. I hope it's as good because that has happened to me several times before where it's just not that good. Sure. Everyone was right. Solo Leveling is phenomenal. Like it hits all the marks. Like it has a great. I mean, the premise is like mostly what you've seen in lots of other isekai like anime.
Yeah.
Or a fantasy themed anime, whatever. But it's strong. This one in particular is strong, and like his motivation matters to me, and the way that they make his motivation and mission change and adapt over the course of the season, I thought was really cool. Because like he's doing it for one reason, which is just like it's anyone in his position would do what he's doing, given the circumstances. But then he gets another more personal reason, and then he gets another kind of dire reason, and it's like he was on this path already, but like they just keep reinforcing the fact that like, no, this is your life now, sir.
Yeah. And
I really like that.
Yeah, and they do a good job of making him very likable at the start, and then I haven't obviously read anything about it, but I'm assuming he will become much less likable down the road.
Clearly something's happening to him, and like it makes sense, right? Like,
I really enjoyed it. Oh, I'm only 3 episodes until the end of Delicious in Dungeon, and I've liked this back half of the season so far. Feels very different. Feels like a very different. Obviously. Introducing various new party members for them, and sort of introducing new.
It's like a pace resetter.
But when you get to the one episode where you find out kind of when they reunite once again with the main guy's sister, and you're like, oh no, what happened to you? This isn't good. Maybe black magic. Maybe we shouldn't be doing black magic. Yeah.
That's intense. That particular episode.
Yeah. I love every time a meal gets cooked and then there's that little like taiko drum noise and they show the food, like, and it's almost like taken with like a YouTuber camera angle of a meal. Like an Instagram. Yeah. Good stuff.
That is the draw.
Yeah.
Like Trigger's so good. They deserve more shows. Give them additional shows to take care of.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I finished the new DuckTales series with the kid. Eric had this one queued up. Am I tripping? Did the old DuckTales show have a through line? Like, did it have like mysteries and stuff? Like from like that carried over throughout the, because I know there's fan stuff like kind of meta questions where like, how come the three brothers, like where are their parents, right? Like they're either being taken care of by Donald, who apparently in the original show Donald had to go to the Navy, and that's why they ended up with Scrooge McDuck
to fight in a war.
I guess. Like what? That's what the description says. Donald had to go to the Navy, so he left his three nephews with his other uncle. But no, this show takes all of it takes all the pieces of that, as well as several other kind of duck centric and just Disney Channel shows in general, and mashes them together in this show in such a satisfying way. Like you get answers to a lot of questions. You get you get like certain things remixed in a way that just makes sense now. Like for example, like Donald, like Uncle Scrooge McDuck is Donald's uncle, like directly, which means that one of his mother, father, whatever is a brother, sister to Scrooge.
Yeah.
But his nephews are his sister's kids, and that's why he was with them, because his sister went missing. And so they're telling you like, oh, this is why these kids are in this predicament, because something bad happened to their mom. And then that's a big mystery that you get a payoff to at some point, and then that payoff like introduces a bunch of other weird shit into that universe. And like the picture Eric has here, like they introduce you to Darkwing Duck, who is a character that shares the same universe as this one, because they had a character in common, Launchpad. Yeah. And it's like, I don't think those shows ever explained why Launchpad was here and there, but this gives you that bridge. Like this tells you why that was a thing.
Deep duck lore.
Yeah, like it's fantastic. There's nods to Chippendale Rescue Rangers in this. There's nods to Gargoyles of all things. That one seemed more fan servicey, like not like a Gargoyles exist in this universe type of thing. But it was like it's the sort of thing where when you see it and they had the musical cue play, like you jump up, like you do the Leo DiCaprio meme, whatever.
Yeah,
like they even have deep cuts for like just straight up fans of just DuckTales, like the game in particular. Like there are fight sequences where Scrooge will do that pogo stick attack on people.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
And there's a scene where like they play music from the game, and like the captions clued me into this because I've never played the game, but it says theme from the SNES
Moon theme or whatever. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. It's got a really good voice cast too. Like
yes, the voice cast is fantastic. Yeah, a bunch of A-list actors and stuff. Everyone pulls their weight. It's a really, really fun show. Like if you have any affinity at all for any of the old Disney shows, not like if you skip DuckTales and watched anything else, this will still hit for you.
It's like done, right? It's not ongoing.
Yeah, it did finish. And you know what? That's a sign of a good show.
Do you know how many episodes it is?
Oh crap. It's like 3 seasons. I think about 30 episodes. Yeah, 30 or so episodes a season.
Okay.
But it's good. Cool. It's great.
Yeah, it's been on my I've heard nothing but good things about it, so it's been on my long list. Nick, you watching or playing anything else?
No, I obviously was home last week dealing with stuff, so pretty much just got caught up on a bunch of movies. Very like 2-second reviews for each one. The Gray Man, enjoyed. And Seven Kings Must Die was okay.
What is that?
Seven Kings Must Die is like an extended movie from the name of the show. Must Die.
Is that what we're calling a TV series now? Extended movies?
No. Well, I mean, basically, but it was
big old chopped up movie.
It's based on the Netflix series The Last Kingdom, and basically after the show ended, they made a movie to, like, wrap everything up.
Gotcha.
Kind of like Netflix does that sometimes for their series.
Yeah, I'm waiting on the Peaky Blinders one for that.
Yeah, so I watched that. I watched Extraction 2 with Chris Hemsworth, which is basically a 2-hour just action scene the entire movie. Really, really liked it, actually.
Yeah, that doesn't sound bad the way you just described it.
The action scenes in Extraction 1 are very good.
Yep. I wrapped up Outer Range season 2. I still really enjoy that show. It's kind of hard to follow, but no spoilers because I know people are still watching it. And then I finally watched Dune 2, and I loved it.
I forgot about good movie. You didn't watch Oppenheimer?
I still have not watched Oppenheimer. I still have not watched Top Gun Maverick. I still haven't watched Into the Spider-Verse. Like, I've got some catching up to do.
You still haven't watched Atlanta.
You know what? But you watched Seven Kings Must Die, and you watched Extraction 2.
Yeah. Oh, and I rewatched the Planet of the Apes movies.
You rewatched them,
the modern ones?
Yeah. The modern.
Did you
ones.
watch?
Actually, okay, so I didn't watch Rise of the Planet of the Apes because for some reason Dawn to me just seems like the starting movie title, and I did that, and then
they flubbed.
Yeah, and then I watched the finale, the third movie, and I was like, wait a second, there's a third movie, but this was the finale. Like, what the fuck happened? And then I go back and read the chronological order. I was like, oh, I missed an entire movie. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, the naming convention kind of dropped the ball.
Three, so
yeah, I don't remember
direct that one. So
yeah, I don't remember really enjoying Rise.
It's got Draco Malfoy inviting a bunch of babes to the zoo,
and James Franco in it,
and he tortures the monkeys to like as like a way of hitting on the babes. And I watched it. I'm like, no babes are gonna be interested in this.
Like, where did you get these girls that you thought torturing this animal in front of them would get you cool points?
Let's get a six pack, sneak into the zoo, and I'm gonna electrocute some monkeys.
Yeah, I do want to watch the Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes now.
But I enjoyed it.
I got
set hundreds of years later, so don't worry. There's no characters. You don't really have to follow any of the characters between them, honestly, other than Caesar.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like I really missed anything skipping the first movie.
Nah. There's like
you get a whole almost like they rebooted the trilogy halfway through.
I mean, there's one scene you should see, and it's when Caesar says no, and that's it.
That scene's great.
Yeah.
And the second scene is when Draco Malfoy tries to woo babes with monkey torture. Those are the two scenes you should see.
And then I started.
I'm glad you like Dune. Did you like? Oh wait, you just said you like Dune, right? You didn't say you didn't like Dune.
Yeah, I do like Dune.
Movie.
I really liked it. I also don't know if I got all the hype behind it because like even the big battle action scene is like not that incredible.
I don't want to sound like one of them people, but seeing it in theaters felt like a religious experience.
Sure. But I mean, like the whole battle scene, and then they like just suddenly show up on the doorstep of the Emperor. I was like, did I miss like a whole action scene somewhere here?
They just
maybe
they got it done. He's just sometimes stuff happens off screen.
Is Dune 2 the end of Dune, or is there going to be a Dune 3?
No,
there's going to be a Dune 3, and it's going to get weird. It's going to get weird. Those books get real weird. One character turns into a very large worm with a man face, and I'm excited to see what they do with a large worm with a man face. Let me tell you, he's a pivotal character you cannot take away from the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I still really loved it. I just, those movies are sometimes a little weird to me, but at least 2 was much easier to follow than 1.
Eric, did you give Nick spice eyes? How did you do that?
Incredible.
That's really silly.
I would say he prepared it, but we didn't even know Nick was going to talk about doing stuff.
No. Yeah. And then, started The Boys season 4 last night. I've been putting it off. I don't know why. It didn't like call me to watch it. And then as soon as I started watching and all those people were back on screen, I was like, okay, what was I doing? Why am I not watching this day to day? As soon as Carl Urban gets on screen and Anthony, I'm just like,
Starr.
I'm in. Yeah, Anthony Starr. I'm just like, I'm in.
He's truly an Anthony Starr. who gets people mad. People scream at him because they think he's a bad man. And same thing.
He's so good at his role. That's
Cole, why people like fucking abuse the actor who plays Kristen Cole on his Instagram account. And I'm like, do you understand what actors like?
They can't turn it off.
Who is Joffrey like quit acting because people hate him so much.
Yeah, that sucks.
Bunch of dopes. I've been jamming through a couple games on my Switch, new games, including the new Monkey Ball, which let me say, as someone who's been a fan of Monkey Ball since it launched on the GameCube back in 2001, this is the best Monkey Ball since Monkey Ball 1. No, best Monkey Ball since Monkey Ball 2, because Monkey Ball 2 had much better multiplayer party modes. This game's multiplayer party modes are kind of bad, but it's
this one's bad.
The multiplayer party modes are bad, and it's like it's
this day and age,
multiplayer only in this economy. And they should have just taken the multiplayer modes from 2. The best one was the one where you roll your ball down a ramp, and then you have to glide and land on a bullseye target, and you get like a certain amount depending on stuff. But that's not important because the actual Monkey Ball is so good. This is the best feeling Monkey Ball. I think the best feeling Monkey Ball ever. Courses are really inventive, and I just continue to love that they RKG Studios or RGK Studios, RGG Studios. What's their name? The Yakuza developers. The Yakuza developers make a shit ton of money off Like a Dragon Yakuza games, and then they use that money and they fund their actual passion projects, which are the Monkey Ball games, which is great. That's why you get unlockable little Kiryu outfits for your monkeys and stuff.
What do I look
so I've been really enjoying that. It is stupid that it is really dumb that it is a Switch exclusive. Like at this point,
that surprised me.
I mean, I get it that that's like, where it launched on GameCube, it was a GameCube exclusive, and this is probably where they assume their audience is going to be. But I don't know. This just fucking put the monkeys everywhere. What are we doing?
It seems like Capcom is well, this isn't Capcom. I'm sorry, this is Sega. My bad.
Sega.
Never mind. Disregard.
Wow, trying to throw Capcom under the bus.
No, I was going to pose a theory, but this is Sega, so this doesn't make any sense.
And then I'm a little bit into Frogun Encore, which I know Yahtzee played earlier with Jemate on Yahtzee Tries. I don't know. I didn't watch, so I don't know what they thought of it. I'm assuming he said something, all right, it's fine. That was my Yahtzee impression. It was pretty bad. Not a good Yahtzee impression. You'd think that after streaming
Eric
2 hours,
wasn't a fan.
2 hours a week with him, that I would do something better. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think it's delightful. I think it's a huge improvement on the first Frogun. As if you like little sort of puzzle 3D character platformers, collectathons with a nice aesthetic that takes you back to like the PS1 N64 era. Cannot recommend it enough. I think it is very good. Give it a thumbs up. He hated the camera. All right. Sounds like a skill issue. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the first one either. Like I played it for a hidden gem once, but you said this improves on that. Like,
yeah, if you didn't like the first Frogun, I don't know if I just think the level design is much more interesting. I think like the stages themselves feel like each one brings new ideas to the table. It very much feels like they made this first game and then they were like, okay, we have our base, we have our footing. Now let's like really get creative with stuff.
That checks out.
Yeah. Big fan of that. And then I've been replaying Parasite Eve on my personal channel because that's going to be one of the upcoming episodes of the archive. And that's just a great game. I don't know why we as a society don't make more horror, scary, spooky JRPGs. But we should. And also Square, speaking of developers bringing back old franchises, what are we doing with Parasite Eve? Put that on consoles. Let people play Parasite Eve. Let them see. There's a great scene where a cop is being racist, and then seconds later, he just starts on fire and dies. And that is the game we need. That is the game we need that says, if you are racist, you will start on fire and die.
Boy, are those the rules of Parasite Eve? Because I might need to play this game.
No, it just happened to this one dude. It's like it's all about your mitochondria. Man, your mitochondria, they are mutating. And let me tell you, we all got mitochondria in us and we don't realize it. But if they started to mutate, very bad shit would happen. So let's just all be thankful as we approach this 4th of July that our mitochondria are in check, unlike the folks of Parasite Eve. And Fungus Finder, as he's watching me play, does not like the science in the game. The science does not check out, apparently. And I had to keep reminding him, these are fictional characters and monsters, and it's not real, and it's fine.
I mean, it can be distracting if it's like especially bad science or just bad fiction. Like you give your character a conceit for like a magical ability and they're falling over themselves trying to explain it to you, and it's like it still doesn't make any sense. That's how I feel about Jujutsu Kaisen, which I've started watching
Star
as well.
Star Wars.
But Gunkata
makes sense. Gunkata makes sense.
Star Wars and whatever causes the force into the chat. Midichlorian.
It is so weird. It is so weird because this is mitochondria and midichlorians, and this came out like a year before episode 1, and I'm like, what a weird year for being like, I think I'll enjoy this thing, and then being bombarded with large scientific M sounding words. So yeah,
I've always like had that thought about like science fiction books. Is like, do these people actually know like how these things work, or they're just making shit up?
So this is like Parasite Eve is based on a Japanese novel.
Oh,
so maybe that person did some research.
They were on the other side.
Just because you wrote a book, it doesn't mean you did research. But
it doesn't. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's all fiction anyway. It doesn't matter. Just like question marks in the title.
Boom. You just got to make it sound like it makes sense.
This isn't fiction. This is real. This is
Parasite Eve is real.
No, this right here. This
rat.
This rat is real. Oh yeah, the rat turned. Oh, that rat has a great look. How gross this looks. Let's get this demonetized. Fucking get our channel taken off. That's what happens. It's mitochondria, guys.
Oh,
that rat has too many mitochondria.
No, I don't like this. Let's stop this.
It reminds me of The Fly when I watched that for the first time.
Yeah,
Hard for Life. When he comes out of the teleporter, fucking disgusting.
Yeah, but the scenes where he doesn't have a shirt, ooh, he looks fine. Let me tell you, Jeff Goldblum, machi. Oh, Nixia with a $5 dono. Thank you so much. As someone who owned an orange cat and a black cat at the same time, I will say orange cats are goated. So sorry, orange cats.
Not stray, they're not.
Not stray. I don't know how is years later that game catching strays from you.
It knows what it did.
It's his Last of Us Part 2.
I'll forgive Stray
It's your last Jedi.
When Tunic gets the recognition it deserves, I will forgive Stray. Like Stray caused a crime that has yet to be righted.
A crime, a murder mystery, and Anixia with another $5 dono. Thank you so much. Donald Duck is a war veteran and took place on D-Day. That's why he's so angry. It isn't just a silly personality trait; it's PTSD. That'd be gnarly.
There's a fun episode in the new series where somebody gives him like some sort of vocal he swallows some sort of vocal pill thingy, and he has a normal voice. And he sounds like the coolest fucking guy. Like he has all these cool ass one-liners, like he's doing cool ass action shit. And it's like he's been saying stuff like this the whole time.
That's incredible. I love that.
Like it's so freaking hilarious.
That's good shit. Cool. I think we did it. I think we're done. I think we can go to bed now.
Yay.
I'm proud of us. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in to another episode of Firelink. Nick, what do you have going on? What should folks check out?
I'm going to drive exotic race cars at a bachelor party this weekend.
Shit, I want to do that.
I didn't even tell you that, Casey. I get to go drive a Nissan GTR this week on a racetrack.
Thank you for that idea. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, like 250 in Vegas. Go do it.
Oh shit, I don't want to go to Vegas though.
Oh, wait, I don't either. It's too hot out there. But yeah, I don't have no unpacked video for me this week because I was at home last week dealing with family emergency. Which, first of all, my mom specifically wanted me to say thank you to everybody if you're listening to the podcast for signing the Get Well Soon card. It has made her feel very happy and hopeful.
Yeah, that was really nice. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
There was 100 pages for her to read through.
Now I feel bad that I insulted everyone several times throughout this episode.
But yeah, she has called me multiple times to make sure I told the community thank you for that. So thanks for showing up in support and doing a really nice thing for her. She really appreciates it. But yeah, no unpacked episode from me tomorrow because I just couldn't get one written last week. So next one will be on the fear of missing out that permeates games, and not this Thursday, but next Thursday. And then, obviously we'll be pushing the Patreon a lot in July. We posted about that in the Discord and the YouTube community tab today. We've got cool things launching soon, like the Rewind podcast with Marty, Darren, and Jack, and as well as a rotating cast of co-hosts. So be sure to look out for that if you like our movie and TV coverage. July 9th. 2 weeks.
Can't wait.
That's starting in under 2 weeks.
Yep.
I gotta start watching films.
And then Marty's got his new show, The Archive, coming. We're going to film our Animal World documentary in August. We're going to PAX West now to do some cool stuff in August. So lots of fun stuff. So
a Western PAX. I can't believe it.
Our next quarterly financial report will be in your posts within the next 2 weeks, and you get to see how big our tax bill was for last year. Because turns out stockpiling money and not paying any expenses, big tax bill.
That's why I go off the grid. I burn my Social Security card and I refuse to pay taxes. Everything's been fine, so I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah, government, he's right here.
Try to find me, Joe Biden. I'm too stupid.
That's it for me. Oh, and since we pretty much got the plans figured out today, it sounds like we will be doing our first community meetup at PAX. So join us there for that.
You should do it at the fish market.
We'll
do it at the gum wall.
Starbucks.
The original Starbucks, the fish market, or the gum wall.
The gum wall.
There's a wall where people put all their gum.
I don't want to go by that wall.
Too bad.
Seems unsanitary.
Too bad. Every video needs to be shot in front of the gum wall. Our sponsor is gum, so we need to shoot all of our videos in front of the gum wall. And it's a ways away from the convention center. It's like an hour away from the convention center, which is not convenient.
Yeah, Red Dwarf is asking what the hell happened to my glasses. So one of the arms broke off, and I've had it taped. And then while I was on stream today, it fell off, so I'm like wearing half glasses.
Wow.
You gotta get some new glasses.
I do. You know what? I need to do that though. Is insurance.
No, you could use regular money. I feel like you just need glasses. You need to. Insurance doesn't pay that much.
I'm gonna go, but here's the thing. I'm gonna go drive a race car out them, so I'll be fine.
That seems incredibly dangerous. Everyone stay out of Nevada this weekend.
Don't tell my mom.
Fungus Finder with the $2 dono said KC : PTSD is fun. Speaking about Scrooge McDuck and his PTSD. What else do you got going on, Casey?
Real quick on that note, a bunch of folks in chat as well as Eric said that Donald Duck's like regular voice was Don Cheadle.
That can't be true.
Which is it must be true because it checks out. I believe it. They got some good at like freaking Lance Reddick has a character on that show.
Hell yeah. Like
they went all in for the voice cast. But yeah, as for me, you can find me all over the internet at Sigma Gears 9. Like I mentioned earlier, the wedding streams are currently back in style. They're back in rotation every Friday, 7 p.m. On my personal Twitch channel. We're probably gonna finish Little Kitty Big City and move on to something else afterwards. So be there, find out what we're doing. Once we hit 60% of the goal, we are doing a karaoke stream though. So that's gonna be fun. It will probably be nuked from Twitch afterwards. So you're gonna need to be there if you want to see this karaoke stream. Outside of that, tomorrow we have Devil May Cry. Mm-hmm. I don't have any videos pending right now, but I don't know. Follow me on Twitter. Maybe I'll tweet a thing. Who knows?
Don't do it. Yeah, and then Devil May Cry tomorrow night, same time, normal time, 7 p.m. We're getting close-ish to the end. I don't think we'll probably finish it this week, but maybe we'll finish it next week. And then we have two bonus streams tomorrow, and I'm on both of them. I'm on 3 streams tomorrow. First at 10 a.m. Central. This is going to be only on Twitch. Jack and I are going to be playing Killer Clowns from Outer Space with Jesse Galena because we took Jesse's pilot license away. Because when he streams, it's been crashing lately, and so he thinks he may have fixed it. And so we're using the Twitch channel as sort of an experimental way to see if we fixed it. So that'll be a Twitch-only thing, so if anything goes wrong, then it's fine. We don't have to worry about anything on YouTube. And we kind of, the whole time, we've been wanting Twitch to kind of have a bit of a different flavor than YouTube. So that'll be 10 a.m. On Twitch. And then at 1 p.m. Central tomorrow on both channels, Jack and I will be back with more Elden Ring.
Yeah,
he's played a little bit since Friday. He hasn't played a lot. Yeah, we'll be going.
He says that, and then he's gonna run through it because he knows where everything is. Because he's a liar.
Very possible he does that. It seems like he could absolutely do that. Excellent. that is about it for us. So for Nick, for Casey, and for Eric, this was Marty. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Firelink episode number 26. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evenings, and hopefully we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, y'all.
Bye. No Call of Duty on Friday either, because I'll be
Call of Duty. Support the troops.
I will start Call of Duty 2 at some point in my life.
Sounds like a lie. Bye, everyone.